Uh, about a week, 2 weeks ago, I finished reading the book, The Exodus, What Is It? Why Did It Happen? By Richard Elliott Friedman, author of Who Wrote the Bible. It was an interesting read. Basically, we all know the story of the Exodus. Basically, Hebrews are enslaved in Israel, or in Egypt. God calls to Moses. Moses is comes back and removes the Israelites, and they go to the Promised Land. They wander around for 40 years because of the whole sin thing. But it was really interesting because Richard Elliott Friedman, I believe, is a biblical scholar, and a lot of biblical scholars like to point out that the Bible is a history book, and it is, but it also is a mythology book. It's a book of um, fairy tales. It's a book of history. It's a book of morality. Literally a law code in Leviticus. Um, so yeah, you would want a second source to corroborate it. Now, obviously, we know that Moses probably didn't write Torah, which is the first five books of the Bible, because he dies in them. And then we also know from Richard Elliott Friedman's Who Wrote the Bible that it's likely three or four sources, possibly even more, and a redactor. But I just decided to do searching for is there evidence for the um uh is there evidence for the Exodus? And it's like, yeah, there is, but there isn't. But it's really one of those weird things because the searches or the evidence that I found was basically it was a quick Google search, and the evidence I found was from the Biblical Archaeology Society and from a Reform Judaism website. So both of those seem biased, at least in my opinion. Also, Richard Elliott Friedman has a theological doctorate. So I'm going to use my university's search now to see if they have anything different, because I'm interested in this. Now, I believe that the Exodus probably happened in a small amount because, like, you write it down, it's a foundational myth. You use hyperbole to say, hey, we had more people than that. So it's like, this explains this and like all of that, and also explains that. Uh, Exodus 1 to 18, did the Exodus happen? History and exile. So I'm seeing a bunch of books, 146 books. I'm going to apply the article filter just to look at these. And unfortunately, because Exodus is also something happening, like we have the exodus of people from. Like, exodus is a word that means mass exit. We actually get it from the Bible. So like if like the exodus of state and local public health employees, separation started before and continued through COVID-19. That doesn't help me. Where did God go? Theophanic shift and exodus. I don't know what that is. Um, Death and treasure and exodus and Beowulf. Okay. So yeah, it's really hard to actually find scholarly sources that aren't biased, which I understand. Like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, it's a religion. We don't want to, I don't upset anybody." But it's like if you believe in a religion, you believe in the religion. It's faith, and if they find evidence for it, that's better. But I also think that the existence of the Exodus happened with a small amount of people, a smaller amount of people. Richard Elliott Friedman believes it was the Levites. Sigmund Freud believes it was Akhenaten and his monotheistic cult. I don't believe that. That doesn't make any sense. But Sigmund Freud also isn't a theologian. Neither am I. Uh, but Sigmund Freud um, did write a book about it, and I don't know how I feel about that.